Morning from a very dark and rainy Virginia here this Saturday morning. My name is Nicole Zezzo. I am doing the video lesson / student teaching update assignment for EDC 592 section A30. And let me tell you about my portfolio first. So our school shut down on March 13th, and that following week, which was last week, it was very uncertain if or when we would be going back. We had a lot more questions than answers. So I spent most of that week working on my portfolio, and I'm excited to say that it's done with the exception of the FES. I have done the reflective writing in the FES and live text, but I haven't imported the whole thing into the portfolio document just because my hours aren't settled yet and I don't know what they will be. So I've completed, I've got my resume, I've got my letter of recommendation, I've got all my test scores, my certifications, including the first aid certification for the state of Virginia. I had done that at the end of the summer last year because I wanted it I wanted to get it out of the way. I have 3 kids and a busy life, so I didn't know when I could get it done once I started working full time again. The portfolio is in great shape. It probably does need a technical review. I followed along with the videos that were sent to us from the School of Education, but you never know if you've got all the documents labeled correctly and in the right spot and stuff. But yeah, other than the FES, my portfolio is done. So for the second point, let me tell you 3 things I've learned from my student teaching placement. My student teaching placement has been unique for many reasons. One, that the school shut down in the middle of it. But secondly, the school that I'm placed at, I've worked at for 2 years. I worked last year as a substitute, and at the end of the year, I was hired to be an instructional aide for the 4th grade team, and I would do remediation for kids preparing for the SOLs, the end of the year test. So I got to know the 4th grade team, the teachers really well, and the curriculum really well too, because I was doing review, especially for math and language arts. So this year I was hired as part-time instructional aide in the fall for 4th grade, and I subbed. So 3 days I would be an instructional aide, and then 2 days I would sub. And so I got to know the team even better. I got to know the kids really well. And in addition, these 4th graders this year, I had done a long-term sub the year before for a teacher whose mother had gotten sick. So a class of those 3rd graders I knew very well, and I'd been their teacher for several weeks. So I came into the student teaching knowing my cooperating teacher and the whole team very well, and a lot of the kids really well too. So that was certainly fortunate and made everything much easier. I felt very comfortable right off the bat. So a lot of the learning that's happened thus far in my student teaching placement has been around the curriculum and kind of the nitty-gritty planning aspects of being a teacher. I would say the first thing that I learned is flexibility. My inclination is to plan hard and plan long ahead. For my studies here at Liberty, I have, often finished all the coursework a week or 2 ahead of schedule just to be certain in case, my kids get sick or something happens with my job. But you really can't do that with teaching. Too many things change. Too many things are in flux. We really are like a week ahead at the most. So that would be the first one, to be flexible, a little less, control minded. Secondly, I've really learned to differentiate, and that doesn't necessarily just mean special ed. Being in the classroom day after day, I've gotten to know the students so well, and I've really seen, this student is a kinetic learner. They need to use the math manipulatives to get it. She will not understand until she actually builds the fraction or whatever it is we're learning. This student is going to take a lot away from this video. This one is barely going to pay attention. So it really enforced this kind of multimodal learning, that anything you're trying to teach, you should teach different ways. And then lastly, I've learned to be appreciative, I guess, of the different resources available in the school. The school I'm at is a really high functioning, wonderful school that has a lot of collaboration going on. And I think next year when I have my own classroom, I will be ready to take advantage of all that. So real quick, because we're running out of time, 3 pieces of advice for future student teachers. Number 1, open your heart to your cooperating teacher. Even if they don't do things the way you would do it, try it their way. Just see it through their eyes. You're going to learn so much and expand your view. So really open your heart to your cooperating teacher. Second would be open your heart to your students. Just, let yourself really fall in love with them and be on their side. You'll have so much more fun. And then number 3 would be prepare for the unexpected. That is definitely the lesson of this semester. I have to kind of let go and let God with what's going to happen with my licensure. And that's scary and hard. And I think every student teacher is going to face things that are out of their control. And you really just have to have faith. If you're called to do this, if your heart is speaking to you to do it, then it will happen. So thank you. Bye-bye.